look, this is so gross, it's not okay, and I can't stay quiet about it, and neither should you. Because as you watch me draw some real art today, let's talk about who are the targets of AI art companies. Who are they fooling? Who are the victims of their evil marketing campaign? And all of this so that they won't make a fool out of you. Now let's talk about what the basis of this video is about today. And throughout this video, I want to talk to you specifically about AI image generation, not anything else that's AI related. And one of the things that I want to let you know is that it is not a successful product. But you're going to be lured into thinking that way because of its marketing campaign. And because of that, I want to introduce to you these targets that we're going to talk about today so that you are aware, so that you know what to oppose, and so that you know what is absolute crap and nonsense that they are force feeding you from every single major outlet that you watch and you digest information from, and how you're being misled, friend. So let's take the wool off that wolf and reveal every single one of these sinister targets of AI companies. Now, this first target, I have so much sympathy for, and I see this happening all the time, and we really need to go ahead and reject it and instead encourage this group of people. And let me just ask you this just to introduce this first one. Do you think it's easier for you to go ahead and rip out a tree that's been planted for the last 30, 40 years? Or is it easier for you to go ahead and rip out a sapling? Because the first target of AI marketing campaigns is definitely young artists. It's so much easier to go ahead and influence a newer generation than it is to try and reprogram older generations. Like, just real talk, like, you're not gonna lure me with a lot more experience because we have a lot more life experience as artists with art and with imagery making, and we're just a lot more impervious to that nonsense. However, though, for younger artists, okay, and you hear me say young artists, but let me just be very clear on who I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about artists in their 20s watching this. I'm talking about artists in their teens and even earlier than that. Because sadly and very unfortunately, even schools are getting misled into this. Even, and it pains me to say this, the National Art Education Association has done the worst potential job of trying to mitigate the damage of AI image generation technology in classrooms. And there are so many art teachers as well that are not doing a proper job of really exposing how this is affecting them and how it's going to take people out of the arts, not more into the arts. And then when you also combine this with the fact that there are so many young people that think that they don't have to work hard to be an artist, that they can shortcut their way to success. And I understand why they think this way, and that's also another topic I want to talk to you about today. But I want you to know and understand that this first example and this first target is that this is by design. It is designed to ensure that young upcoming creatives will not actually oppose them, that they and their rhetoric, the AI company's rhetoric, and what they propagate falsely will go unopposed. And if you're in this group watching this right now, let me just throw this out for you too. But you have an awesome creative spirit. And if you want to create something and actually scratch that creative itch that you have, this is just always going to leave you hollow and empty. It's always going to leave you hungry. And the reason why is because you're not actually satisfying that. But it is the intention of AI marketing companies to go ahead and try and dissuade young creatives from actually fully forming and growing and establishing themselves into the artists that they could be by using their technology. And that's not ever going to happen, and nor is that ever going to satisfy you. Because the honest truth is that all AI image generation technology turns you from a creator into a consumer. And if you have this passion for doing it, it's never going to satisfy that. And as we go throughout this video, I'm going to show you so many different types of examples, and we'll talk about how that's not working out for anybody anyways. This next target has me really scratching my head on it, and I really am just completely baffled at how they could even think that this would remotely be okay. But I think you've seen all of it too. Listen, you can't escape Facebook or Instagram, any social media without this starting to pop up. And it's natural that, of course, the next target of AI marketing campaigns would be naive creators. And who am I very specifically talking about here? I'm talking about musicians, and I'm talking a lot about authors too, okay? Look, Are you sick of every single time that you are scrolling, you see some advertisement, and I see it all the time on Facebook, I see it all the time on Instagram, and it'll be like the dumbest name possible. You can just tell by the cover that it is AI generated. Are you so sick of seeing this too? And if you think that it is just artists, I want to invite you to do this. Check out the comment sections, because almost every single time I see this slop come across my screen and I click on the comments and see I can't be the only one that thinks this. Sure enough, I'm completely validated. Or how about this one too? Do you see some artists, maybe they're up and coming artists or they're more established artists, and you look at their newest album drop and it's like, oh man, come on. It's AI generated slop once again. And it's so obvious, and they get called out on social media, and they get called out in the posts, and they get called out by other creators from other YouTubers. And are you seeing this too? And the hardest part for me to really swallow on this one, even if you are in that boat, and let me just play devil's advocate here, okay? Let's say that I'm a musician and I'm doing my best and I'm strapped for cash, and we'll talk about how that's a delusion of AI marketing as well later in this video too. But let's just say that you're in that boat and you're like, man, I just can't find artists, or I just wasn't able to go ahead and get it together for it. Okay, so let me just get this straight. I'm supposed to support your artistry, but you won't go ahead and turn around and expect us to be supported? What is this hierarchy of who cares about art? Because that's not how it works. There's no hierarchy of like literary and then music and then visual artists. That does not exist. Every single one of these has industries. And trying to push that narrative, that is so damaging to the arts. And then also just think about this too. How are we as an audience supposed to respect you when you can't even respect your fellow creative? How am I supposed to support you and say, wow, you did a great job, when at the outset, your cover created a really bad impression, when it made me distrust you? Maybe I'm now going to be like, wow, I thought that was a cool song, but now that I know it, just a machine did it, I'm not impressed. Or, oh, you wrote that book? Or did you? Maybe you had AI write it. And all AI books are doing notoriously terrible. Even if they're doing high sales, you gotta check reviews. These things are not being received well at all. And honestly, do you really think that you're gonna create an amazing creative product by you trampling on and disrespecting your fellow creatives? Because we're all in the same boat. And just to be honest, AI does exactly what you're trying to claim on your end that it can't do. So that makes you a big fat hypocrite. But the AI marketing campaigns will tell you, oh, well, you can just go ahead and do this, or if you're strapped for cash, you can do that. But in reality, just to be honest, if your craft is really about your craft, you really need to think about how you're going to package that together, and then how you're going to promote it in a way that's going to bring you honor and respect, friend. Because honestly, you and I both know, even if you've done this before and you've gone down this road and you are in that boat, you've kind of lost your sense of artistic pride. And that also makes me sad. It should make you sad too. And so this example now, this is horrible. And like, this really pains me to really point this one out, but I can't ignore it because I've seen so many comments come through my channel. But one of the worst targets that have somehow become just the champions of this technology, and seemingly some of the poster children for it too, are the disabled crowd. Have you seen this? This is awful. Like, these AI image generation companies, like, they should feel absolutely ashamed of themselves for trying to promote this. And so here's how this goes if you've never heard this before. It's something to the effect of like, oh, well, hey, if you have horrible chronic pain, or hey, if you have immobility, if you have limitations on your physical abilities, then look at that. Here's AI serving it hot and ready on a platter for you. And this is supposed to fix your problem. Can we just expose this for what it is? This is pure rotten manipulation, like the worst level of manipulation at its core. And it is downright shameful, because what these companies are doing, I just want to point this out, they don't care about you. They don't care about your disability. They don't care about how you're disadvantaged. They care because you are a pawn in their scheme. because you are the sympathy card. You represent a very valuable asset for them in that you can influence others through your sad story. And that's supposed to champion their product, not because it actually helps you, but because it helps them. And if you know somebody in this boat, please try to correct them. Please go ahead and try and talk to them about this, because they are being used by AI image generation companies, and it needs to stop right now. If you think that because of your limitations that you can't make art, let me just introduce this fact to you. There are so many well-renowned and well-known disabled artists and physically restricted artists and those with limitations that are doing a killer job on it. And if you're concerned that your art doesn't measure up, that you can't be creative, that you can't bring your vision to life, let me just put this out there. All AI art really stems from your lack of ability to produce perfection. And we'll talk about why that's important in a second for other populations that are at risk similarly. The reality is that your imperfections are really what make you what you are. And I want you to go ahead and let that be your story, and let that also be how you're representing yourself, because that's absolute power. That's true creative genius. That's true creative prowess right there. And then if you're gonna go ahead and say, well, it helped me, no, it really didn't. And let me just go ahead and spin this in another direction. Would you want to disable other people? Would you want to wish your disability or your limitation on somebody else? Because in all complete honesty, that's exactly what you're doing. What you're doing is you are disabling other artists for your own self. That's selfish, my friend. And the last thing you want is to be a corporate pawn in that scheme, because you lose, artists lose, and the rest of the world loses out on understanding you and your unique visions, which you should totally invest into. Listen, there are tons of disabled artists right now that are missing limbs, that are missing fingers, that can't move in the way that normal people can. There are plenty of artists. You can look these people up. And this is not even visual artists, it's musicians as well, it's actors as well. And you can be that type of person. Think of how powerful you will be in your community by doing that versus you using technology that literally rips off and disables other artists. Does that make you prideful? I don't think so. Now, before we go into this next one here, if you're enjoying this content, if this is helping you, if you know somebody that this would speak to, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe so that you get more content just like this every single week, like I'm putting out here on my channel, and to help you grow into the artist that you actually want to be and how you will make it through art, and AI will not be the end of you. And now that rolls me into the next target of AI marketing campaigns, which is definitely underdeveloped artists. And so who am I talking about? I'm talking about you as an artist. Tell me if this is you, are you looking at what AI can produce and saying, oh, I can't make that, or oh, that's so much better than what I can do? Or are you looking at what some of these prompt jockeys are pushing out and you're like, oh my God, it's gonna be so long before I can do that? And do you hear how I'm saying this? Do you hear how I'm mirroring what some of the things you're saying are? What you're doing is you're playing a game of inferiority. And just to let you know, you lose that 100% of the time. So at this point, the plot thickens. And now what I want you to know is that all of the targets after this and before this all circle around the same concept. They want to make you feel inferior. They want you to force a comparison between what you can do and what it outputs and say, oh, I'm irrelevant compared to this. And so this is a very, very common trait. And so what this is also pushing is this idea that you are just never going to be. And especially again, like if you're a young artist, why the heck are you so certain that in the next 10, 20 years, you're not going to be absolutely everything that you imagine and so much more? So you might be around this kind of mindset that like, oh, AI art is a tool. It's just a simple little tool, Sean. It's no different than a pencil. But that's absolutely not the case, because you are the tool by using it. See, it gets better and you don't. The company and the product gets all of the fame and glory, not you. And if you reject that, let me just ask you this. If AI art is the future of art, why are there no prominent AI artists? What AI movies are you watching? None. What AI shows are you watching? None. What AI comic books are you reading? None, none, and none. And so if this is the future, as they keep on promising it's going to be, why is none of this coming true? Why are none of these enterprises actually taking off? Because there's no future for them. And then this backs up against, of course, the typical AI bro mentality, which is just wait, just wait, just wait. But for you as a young artist, you're feeling impatient, right? And we'll talk about how that'll affect you later on today too. And the thing I just want to let you know is, friend, if you think that AI is going to get better in the future, what about you? Aren't you going to get better? Aren't you going to progress? And you think that you perhaps need to use this technology, or even you need to learn it. Have you ever been learning, thinking, no, you got to learn this or you're going to get left behind? Really? Because the only thing that's helping you do, friend, is disappear. But let me just tell you the honest truth here. You have infinite growth potential. You have the ability to supersede everything. And AI image generation companies, they're always playing a game of catch up. And if you think that it's going to fill in the gaps in your knowledge, it won't. It will only handicap you. And if you think that somehow it's going to help with your product, your game, or some other creative endeavor, it won't. And I'm going to talk to you about that real soon. But my friend, let me just reach out to you right now. This is not the answer. It will never be the answer. And in fact, you are never going to be anybody who is renowned, anybody who is remarkable, and you are certainly never going to be any creative that is respected in any creative field by using this. It's just the truth. Moving on. Now, let's kind of bring about a certain type of person, a certain character flaw that's going to be really apparent with everybody who's really pushing this tech. And very specifically, let me just put this up for you. Do you ever notice how there's always a big rush? Like everybody who is really championing this, who's really a big jockey for it, is always trying to say something around the fact that like, oh, well, it's all about time and I need it done quick and it has to be like this and I'm under this strict deadline. And I notice this all the time because the next target of AI Art's Evil marketing campaign are the impatient crowds. And I'm very specifically talking about anybody, especially that has any type of process that they're trying to shortcut. I'm talking about anybody that is trying to make sure that they get their thing out on time. I'm talking to you big time if you have like a long-term project and you're trying to use AI to shortcut that. And so here's the biggest flaw in that. You are completely denying a necessary process. And so this is going to, of course, oppose all of the like business bros in here. And look, I love business. I love creating things. However, though, caveat, that doesn't matter when it's a really lousy product and it's a less than product. Because what AI art bros don't understand is that everything that they're making is the lowest quality product. What, Sean? But it looks so good. It looks better than mine. No, it really doesn't, and nobody cares about it. You thinking that you shortcutting and expediting that process gives you the best version, it absolutely doesn't. Let me just give you several examples of this one, okay? Whenever a game is made, it goes through so many phases of concept art. And anybody here who says that it can do concept art, man, you are so mistaken on that, and I will blow that up very soon. The reason why that happens and why there's so long of an exploratory process for it, and it depends on some games. Like just for example here, an Assassin's Creed game takes about 3 years to develop, and it takes about 6 to 9 months for that concept art to end. Versus if you go into like Cyberpunk, right? That universe took 7 years to build that game, and it took a very, very long, probably like a 2-year concept art phase just to build that world. Here's why that's necessary, and that will never be shortcut. Because of the fact that that process and that exploration is what actually brings about the best product. If y'all have never seen it too, like my favorite example I love to give is this. Here's Woody from Toy Story, and look at all these iterations of him. These are horrific, right? Like imagine if that was the star of this beloved franchise. That would be terrible. And so let's take this out of that context too. So many AI bros are just like, well, I have a great idea, Sean. Guess what? Nobody cares about your idea. It's a bad idea. Let me just also upgrade it there. It's a terrible idea because you haven't labored through it. You can also put this into movies. There's so many just ad-lib moments in movies where it's like, whoa, that wasn't a script, let's keep that in. Most famously that I can think of is that awesome scene in Star Wars where Princess Leia says, I love you, and Han Solo says what? I know. That was not in the script. That was Harrison Ford's version of it. and they kept that in there. And now look at that. That's a staple in the franchise. It's awesome. And so by you being impatient and you rushing and rushing and rushing, you're undervaluing the most important aspect of this. You're thinking that time and effort are not valuable. It's actually reversed. Time and effort are extremely valued. And what AI companies are preying upon you with are you who is desperate. And desperation is never going to bring you happiness, fulfillment, and it certainly won't bring you any recognition or wealth either. But value will. And AI just can't produce value. Next, I recently got turned on to this one from a post that I saw on Twitter. And here's one thing that I really agreed with this one on, which is when you take a look at who is using AI image generation, and we take a look at who's really championing this, one of the things that you really need to acknowledge is that they have no idea what they're doing. And so this is a danger not just in the creative visual industry, but also too in every other one. Like just as an example, you have AI YouTubers coming out now, which is such a joke, and they're doing terrible, which is so nice to see. And so with them, they are people who have absolute no authority. They have absolutely no knowledge. And this is also hilarious when I tie this into how AI image generation bros, how AI art bros are suddenly going to tell us, the creatives, the people that actually know a thing or two, how things are done. And so that brings about the next target of AI image generation companies, which are the unfocused and the unaccomplished. Because these people, I mean, I hate to say it, but they're the most at risk and the most gullible because of the fact that they haven't done anything. And so that post that I'm alluding to basically said that anyone who's an expert that has tried AI is always disappointed in it, and you'll realize that AI is really stupid. And so what this realizes is that there's an overwhelming amount of people who are experts in absolutely nothing. And so one of the biggest dangers is that you are going to think that you are going to gain some type of purpose and some type of confidence through using this. But let me just level with you here, especially if you're using AI image generation. Do you look at anything you generate with an extreme sense of pride? Like for me, I look at some of the stuff that I'm making, or like in this video too, and I'm like, wow, I feel good about that. Even if this is not like top tier, god tier product, because I mean, let's be honest here. I'm not an S-rank artist here, all right? I do my stuff, I have my business and all that, but at the same time, like I know that there are people better than me, but nonetheless, I feel good. I made this that you're watching. I put in the effort. I am the one responsible for it. I'm the one that sees the growth in it. But inevitably, everybody that's a huge jockey for AI image generation tech, they don't know anything. They think that their products are good. They think that their images are great. But that's just because they're unexposed to it. They're unexposed to how to actually make it truly great, what actually matters, what people care about. And let me just tell you this straight up. Perfection is not what people care about. Perfection is not ever the goal. It's about expression. It's about you doing something that's unique. And the only way to make anything truly unique is strictly through you actually laboring towards it, through you trying it out. And that is why at the core of everybody that's a major proponent, everybody that's supporting AI image generation right now, that thinks it's the best, that thinks it's the greatest, that think that's gonna all of a sudden turn them into an artist, it's just because you're naive. It's just because you don't actually understand it. And it's not just artists that think this way too, by the way. And let me just put this out there. What this is producing for you is massive imposter syndrome, and rightfully so, because by using this tech, you are a fraud. Now it is time, this fabled time in this video, for me to go ahead and talk to you about this one, because inevitably somebody in the comments, if they haven't already said it by now, they probably have, you're probably going to say, well, Sean, they don't care about it. People don't ever notice it. It's just about the product, and that's all. It's all about the product, and nobody really cares about the art of the artist. And that is absolute crap and nonsense. That is absolutely not substantiated whatsoever. And so the next target are people that are just product focused. They just have a thing they need to put out. They just need a box art. They just need the concept art, which is not, it can't do concept art, period. And then also just anybody that needs to go ahead and make a quick website or make some logos and stuff. All right, let's blow this all apart right now, okay? If you think that somehow using this stuff makes you unique, it makes you stand out. It does not. It makes you blend in and it makes you disappear. You think that you just making the product with this, even if you're just starting out, and we'll talk about that in a second too here, but like if you think that this is somehow going to jumpstart your business, if you think that this is going to be your ticket to finally making it or to getting out a product or making a few bucks here and there, here's the reality of it. You have to understand that by using AI image gen tech, your stuff looks like a lot of other people's stuff because AI image generation is essentially an algorithm. I know AI bros get absolutely wild when you say that. It's an algorithmic guessing machine based upon data that shows what most people like on it and what is popular, which means that your product looks like a lot of other products and it actually dissuades people from liking it. There's a really great article in Forbes that essentially went over this and said that there is absolute insane growing distrust with AI image generation technology. And then some other companies, like even Kodak right now has this great anti-AI marketing campaign that talks about what AI can't generate too. And this is only going to continue to worsen. If you think that your product can be supported by AI or leveraged by AI, it absolutely can when we're talking about the image generation component of it. It makes people doubt you. It makes people second guess buying from you. And here's just to put this all under a neat umbrella right now, what it makes people do is lose trust in you because people know that that is from a phony. And that's honest. And you need to hear that if you're trying to think this way. And look, you might think that the masses or average people just don't care, but you're just hearing that from who? Oh, people that support AI image gen, not from actual people. I can tell you, like y'all probably don't know this, okay? But do you know what young kids say nowadays? Like I'm talking like elementary school age kids. If they want to say that something is fake or not real, do you know what they say? They go, oh, that's AI. And they say this just in their common speak. So listen, what that proves to me is that AI is now associated with dishonesty and it's associated with misinformation. And you are being associated with that too, whether or not you like it, by utilizing AI image gen tech. I can also put it into this context, right? Every single Saturday, my son plays soccer. And right next to our soccer field is an ice cream shop. And so what we do is every single time my son scores a goal, he gets to earn himself an ice cream. All right, I'll tell you this, I've never brought my son to the ice cream shop. You know why? Because the first time I went on their website, they had AI generated everything. They even AI generated the ice cream. Y'all, why did you need to do this? This is the stupidest idea I've ever heard in my entire life. It is a stupid AI generated, cartoony looking, dumb, rotten, bad example of what the ice cream is supposed to look like. Why would you do that? I don't know if it tastes good. I don't know if it actually looks that way. And I know for sure that I live in a three-dimensional world, not a goofy two-dimensional world. It's not gonna happen. So why do you think that it's gonna do this? Because AI companies told you so, not because it's the reality. Moving on, this population, I'm gonna talk to you right now, they are so heavily at risk. And they are the ones who are most passionately going to believe everything that they're told from AI companies. And that's because of the fact that they don't have a lot else to latch onto. And so the next group I need to warn you about that's really going to be a big, heavy target, and I'm talking one of the biggest, are those who are financially disadvantaged. And look, I see this all the time in so many spaces, okay? I see this again through artists and musicians that are coming up. Oh, I can't afford to pay an artist to make this. I can't afford to go ahead and create my book cover. Oh, I can't afford someone to create my product packaging. And let me just put this out to you because you need to hear this if you're in this boat and you're just like, I don't have the funds and I don't have the time and I'm just so restricted, okay? That is the product that is pure manipulative speak. Because here's what really happens. When you are in the most dire circumstances, you are the least likely to oppose what is being told to you. Because when you don't have any other alternatives, you are going to look at whoever comes to help you as your savior, because you are going to very voluntarily give into oppression. And at the core of what is actually driving AI image generation companies, it is oppression. It is oppressing other artists, oppressing other creatives, and also this too, you self-oppressing yourself. The financially disadvantaged are the ones who are most susceptible to this routine, and they have no clue because AI image generation comes riding in on this beautiful white horse and says, I can do it for you, and it's for free or practically nothing. Because here's another thing too. I feel bad for your circumstance as a human being. On the other hand, you are worsening this effect. You are forcing poverty onto other people. You are forcing this disenfranchisement onto so many people that have nothing to do with this. And that, let me just ask you this, like, would you really want to swap places with that person who did accomplish something and to put them back into your shoes? Because if you really have a good heart, I don't think you would. I don't think you'd want to force that. I don't think you'd want to take away from what someone's built. That's not right, and you know it. If you have any level of conscience, you absolutely know that. And so the other part of this is, I really want to just blow this up, but do you really think that the access to AI image gen is going to stay what it is right now? Because let me just set this on you. If you think that right now is what it's supposed to be, it's not. If you think that it's supposed to enable you people who can't produce art to go ahead and have it, it's not, friends, all right? You're being used. Right now, this is just a training phase for it, okay? If you think that prop junkies or anything like that is actually gonna be sustainable, it won't, okay? Here's the honest version of this one. AI companies are bleeding money. Even though investors are investing billions into it and trillions into it, it really has nothing, and nobody is using it to the degree to which anybody sustainably is able to create anything with it. And it's not making money off of it either. Not enough businesses are using it because it sucks and they have to repair it all the time, and it takes more time, more money to fix it than it does to actually make something good with it. They're actually losing billions of dollars over the millions that they're making. And that can't be sustained. And so what is inevitably going to happen is that it's going to be taken away and it's going to be put out at an enormous price tag, like thousands more than you, the average Joe, can use it. And if you think that just because you have access to it on your local machine, yeah, I wouldn't count on that either. And so the idea here always is never to go ahead and put creativity into someone's hands. What it's trying to do at its highest level here is for some fat cat corporate jerk to go ahead and sit at their computer and say, make an Avengers sequel, make a new comic, make a new this, make a TV show that is an extension of this one, make the new season of The Witcher. It's not for you. It's not to make you empowered. And listen, friend, if you're in dire circumstances, AI is not going to give you what you want. It's only going to further entrench you into poverty and impoverished thoughts. And now we got to go ahead. We got to talk about the biggest proponents of this tech. I'm talking the ones that have loved it from the get-go and the AI bros. Because my God, these people will just hop on any train, no matter where it's going and what's happening with it, because they just love it. They think that there's something great about it. The reality, though, is that this tech is doing terrible, and they really don't want you to know about it. And I actually talked about this 2 years ago, and I made a follow-up video to it, and you'd be surprised to learn how awful this tech is doing. And to learn about that, go and check out this video right here. Thanks so much for watching, and this helped you share with somebody that you know. See you next time.